It is runoff election time. We're continuing our Senate runoff election night coverage on the ATL with our political analysts. They're joining us all night long. State Representative Eric Allen, Republican strategist Cody Hall, and 11 Alive's year-round political analyst Andra Gillespie, all here tonight giving their perspective in tonight's Senate race. Now, earlier today, we caught up with voters to see what they would like to know about this year's Senate race. Here's a question from a voter out of Fulton County tonight.
Well, I had so much money be spent on this particular election. I think I was told last night something like $300 million or $30 million or some crazy amount of money was spent. And it's crazy to me, really, that much money would be spent.
$300 million? Is that accurate? Is that right?
It's 380.
$380 million. All right, so the question to each of you, why was so much money spent on this race? So Dr. Gillespie, start with you.
The stakes are high. Both parties want this race, want to win this race. They want the seat. Democrats want a buffer. Republicans want to keep it at a tie so that they could have power sharing. And in the runoff election, this is the only race around. So the political industrial complex is going to focus on the state of Georgia. In terms of what the money is going towards, right? It's paying for the advertisements that we've seen for the last months. It's paying for the lawn signs. It's paying for the consultants. It's paying for the field operators who are overseeing the folks knocking on doors and doing phone banks. It's paying for a lot of pizza. So campaigns don't come cheap and they're not free.
Cody, is the money worth it?
Yeah, Andra covered a lot of it. I think one of the things that has changed in politics recently that makes it more expensive is voters are changing how they gather information about candidates, campaigns. You're no longer just stuck to a TV. Sometimes you're online, you're on your phone. So you've got to text, you've got to do digital advertising, you've got to advertise on streaming services. So all that costs more money, and it costs more money to tell people where to go. Yeah. So I think that's one of the things that has changed over the last few years that has risen the price tag.
And does it surprise you at all, Eric, about that money just because control of the Senate really isn't in question in this race?
I think people underestimate what 51 does for the Senate versus 50. As Andrew talked about, the power sharing is eliminated. It gives you that buffer. And 2024 is not going to be a favorable Senate map for Democrats. So having that one extra senator in your pocket is going to be very helpful for 2024. So what you're seeing is the power structures, the funders, the donors all coming in, understanding the stakes of this one election.
All right, Dr. Gillespie, now once the races are over, is that money all spent? Where does it go?
It likely is spent, right? Because we've seen a lot of advertising, we've seen a lot of consulting. What'll happen is whoever the winner is, they're going to start raising money again to build their coffers up for the next election.
The cycle continues. Yeah. And Cody, how can candidates use the surplus to help rectify the issues that are top of mind for voters? Can they use that money moving forward?
So they can't, but I think one of the things you'll see is that especially these candidates that have raised so much money, they will move where the money is located from different committees to do issue advocacy, what they call. So they will create groups that can go out there and talk about whatever issues matter to them. So you won't see an end to TV advertisements or mail in your inbox.
It's not over yet?
No,
I shouldn't complain.
It will never be over because we're a battleground state.
You know, well, it's paying the bills over here for the news stations, I think. So I shouldn't complain too much about those ads.